Hey everybody, welcome. It is Unit 5. It's Monday. It's Thanksgiving week. A lot going on this week, of course, but time waits for no one. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at what's going on in Unit 5, what you need to do this week. And if you do need a little extra time because of travel or whatever, just let me know. Shoot me an email if you're going to be going somewhere this week so that I know, to be looking for things maybe a little later than usual. But if you absolutely can, please do stay on your usual schedule. It will make things a lot easier down the road. We still have 6, 7, 8, 3 more units after this. So you don't want to get too far behind, even though I know that sometimes obligations over Thanksgiving, can make things a little bit tricky. So it's fine if you need a little extra time, but let me know, and try to just stay on track. It's just going to make your life a lot easier for the end of the course. So we're going to take a look, of course, as we normally do, at what's happening in Unit 5. So you've got the overview. We're talking about argument. We've already really started talking about your argument paper. You worked on it a little bit in week 4. So we're going to be continuing, of course, with that. And this week, you're going to be learning more specifically about argument in terms of how to construct an argument in writing to persuade an audience. Argument sometimes gets a bad rap. And there are a lot of argumentative topics that are kind of pointless to write about because you're never going to change somebody's mind. But it's still a very useful and valuable tool. It's something that we do use. And often when we're writing for school, we are writing arguments that are not based on political topics or things like that, but they're based on your own interpretation of data or your own view of what a particular disease or mental illness, for example, looks like if you're writing about for something in psychology. So it's an interesting mix that this basic argument essay is going to give us the ability to go forward and write things. I want you to notice that we are looking at one of the objectives this week, and this is one of my favorites, is to judge the need to use facts and opinions in argumentative writing. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more, but I want you to see that word there, and, not or, and. All right. So in the readings and resources, we have persuasive writing, a couple of links there, fact, opinion, and bias, also a couple of links there, and including, of course, one of those activities. So you really want to dig into that. You really want to go through that completely before you work on this week's writing assignments. You have a sample introduction. Now, I want to be clear. This is a sample about cyberbullying, but cyberbullying is not, I repeat, is not one of the topics that you can choose for your argument essay. So this is an argumentative topic, but not one that anyone in the class is going to be using. And the reason you have a sample that's not about one of the chosen topics is that way nobody's tempted to go, oh, well, I'll do that topic because there's already an introduction about it, right? So you're going to pick your topic separate from this, but this is going to be a good example of what an introduction looks like, because you're going to write an introduction this week. So I want to point out a couple of things with this sample. Cyberbullying through online platforms such as Twitter has become a growing problem that needs to be strongly addressed in public high schools around the country. So there's kind of an opening statement. Why, one might ask, is cyberbullying such an important issue? Asking a question is a very common tactic in an introduction and a good one. So you might want to think about using that. Cyberbullying is the act of bullying someone online. And so there we have a definition of the problem a little bit. Often that bullying may include sending messages that harass and intimidate another person through a medium that can mask the person's identity. This type of behavior is not acceptable anywhere, but particularly within the school system because it promotes a negative educational culture and can also be harmful to the person being bullied. Now, the last sentence, and only the last sentence, is what we call the thesis statement. High schools need to implement specific programs surrounding the topic of cyberbullying that provide education on the subject, intervention for those being bullied or doing the bullying, and severe consequences for the acts of cyberbullying. So in the one single sentence thesis at the end, the person has made their claim that high schools need to have programs, and they have listed the 3 areas that this is going to affect. So education, intervention, and consequences. Now, you don't have to have exactly 3 subtopics, but it's kind of a magic number when it comes to essays. You also may or may not end up with exactly three paragraphs in your body, but we'll talk about that when we get there. This week, I want you to focus on that introduction. Ask some questions, give some definitions, and then end with your single sentence thesis. Okay, so those are your readings and resources for Unit 5. Then we have a kind of fun one. This is a week 5 check-in. This is, I think they've done something and not made it the right kind of link. There's nowhere for you to share this. This is not a discussion board. However, if you want to share your dog mood in your Unit 5 fact and opinion one, feel free. You could make that a little introduction. I chose dog number 4, whatever. Okay. So each of the dogs has a number, and this will help you kind of check in and see how you are doing mentally. Although even though this is not a discussion board, I do want to focus on this sentence a little bit. If you want to expand on personal issues that are keeping you from succeeding or being at your best, email your instructor for resources to assist you. Sometimes we're tempted to just share everything that's going on in our head in the discussion board forum, but remember, those go out to the whole class. So if there's something that you want to get some additional help with personally, privately, feel free to email me, and we'll get you going in the right direction. All right. So the Unit 5 discussion board, though, the official one, is about facts and opinions. In this unit, we have looked at the difference between fact and opinion. You will need to use both in your writing, but they serve very different purposes. One of the pitfalls that people usually get into with this particular discussion board is to assume that all facts are good and all opinions are bad. And that is not true at all in any way. So keeping that in mind, and you will know that because you will have done all the reading activities, but what do you consider to be the biggest difference between a fact and opinion? How would you use a fact in your writing, and how do you use opinion in your writing? Because you do need to use both. Why do you think that people get confused about the difference between a fact and opinion? And then once you've written that solid paragraph, you have 2 statements at the end of your post separately. So like 2 sentences all by themselves. Call them statement 1 and statement 2. One should be a fact. One should be an opinion. And then you are going to be talking about which one you think is a fact and opinion as you respond to others. So don't tell us until, people have had a chance to weigh in, but review the 2 statements that your classmates included and talk about what's fact, what's opinion there. All right. I will also give you a hint. Just because something is not true does not make it an opinion. So if I might make a statement of fact that can't be proven yet, but will be able to be proven or disproven down the road. And I'll give you an example of that. The Kansas City Chiefs, my personal favorite football team, will win the Super Bowl in 2023. That is a statement of fact. That is not an opinion. An opinion is, I think the Kansas City Chiefs are the greatest football team in all time. That's an opinion. But a fact, if it's stated as a fact, it would still be considered a fact, even if you can't prove it yet or disprove it yet. So that's where a lot of people sometimes get a little bit confused by this as well. So then you have your writing assignment this week, and it's only a paragraph, but it is the introductory paragraph to your argument essay. So you've got two assignment sheets here. This one is the full assignment sheet for the argument paper. And we've already been exposed to these choices for the topics. You have to choose one of these. Should cell phones be banned in the classroom? Should there be a pay gap in sports based on gender? And should childhood obesity be addressed in American children? They have restated them in a more clear, this is the argument type of a thing. So you can review this. We're going to go over it in depth coming up, but this is the official assignment for the argument essay itself. The assignment for this week is just the introductory paragraph. So this one is the assignment for this week, which has the right rubric and has all of your requirements. So you will notice that the introduction needs to begin with a hook, and then few sentences to have the kind of explaining the topic, giving maybe some definitions, that sort of thing, and then ending with that one single sentence that is your thesis statement, and it's going to state your argument. So it would be either yes, cell phones should be banned, or no, cell phones should not be banned, et cetera, et cetera. And then name the topics that you're going to choose within that, just like that cyberbullying did. All right. If you need help with that, don't forget that you do have the ability to reach out, obviously, to me, but also to the TutorMe system. And there's drop-in help in the English drop-ins are for you guys. You would come up here to English 110 drop-in hours and be able to talk to an actual English instructor. So there's a lot of extra help for you. And then in Unit 6, we're going to be digging even a little bit further into rhetorical appeals that we use in argument and completing the next knowledge check or test. So those are your assignments this week. If you need any help, let me know. And like I said, if you know you're going to be running late with something, let me know, and we'll try to figure it out. All right. I hope everybody has a great week 5, and I will see you after Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody, too.